Welcome back to some more viewer confessions. This time we're doing the Am I the A-hole variety. Got some interesting stories of betrayal and friendships gone wrong, all while I play some Minecraft on my forever world. So let's begin. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for ruining my best friend's life? I, 20M, my best friend, let's call him Jim, 21M, for 12 years we've been best of friends. We've been inseparable since elementary school. Last year, Jim went off to college while I stayed in our hometown to work, and I haven't seen him for 2 years. He told me I should come to his campus and visit, and he would sneak me in. I told myself, why not bring back some old days of mischief? He introduced me to this new group of friends from his campus. At first, I thought they were just normal guys, maybe a bit on the weirder side, but whatever, it's college. But after hanging out with them, I realized that they were actually heavy drug addicts. They were a terrible influence on Jim, and he started changing fast. He was skipping classes, losing weight, blowing me off, and acting super sketchy all the time. I tried talking to him about it, but he just got defensive and told me to back off. I started having massive anxiety that I was gonna get a call one day saying he had overdosed. I got this messed up idea in my head that he needed a serious wake-up call, or he was going to die. I convinced myself that if he hit rock bottom, he would just be forced into rehab and get away from those toxic friends. So I did something completely insane. While we were hanging out at his friend's house, I told the guys I was going to take a leak. I took some of the drugs Jim had in his room, snuck out to his car, and planted them in his glove box. Then I drove down the street and made an anonymous tip to the police, giving them his license plate and saying I saw him dealing. He got pulled over about an hour later. He was arrested, spent the weekend in jail, and was immediately expelled from his college. Now his life is completely ruined. He's facing serious felony charges, his parents have drained their savings to pay for their lawyer, and he is severely depressed. The worst part is nobody knows it was me. I really thought I was doing the right thing to save my best friend's life before those drug addicts dragged him down with them. But looking at what I've done, I feel like I'm the one who actually destroyed him. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You are the asshole here. You got him arrested on something that he didn't do. There are so many ways you could have gone about this. You could have told his parents. You could have had an intervention with him and other friends. You could have maybe hid his drugs from him. Anything but getting him arrested and getting him expelled from college. What do you think he's gonna do now? If I were you, I would at least come clean. At the very least, your friend won't be given a distribution charge. He'll be given a possession charge, which is a very different thing. Intent to sell versus intent to use are two very different things. But in general, this is a lesson to people out there. Try and help your friends, be there for them, do what you can, but know when it's enough. People also need to want to be helped if you're going to help them, okay? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for bad-mouthing my ex to my friend? So at the time this happened, I was between 16 and 17 years old. And up to that point, I had never even kissed anyone in my entire life. Not that I was a weirdo. I had friends and talked to girls, but I had never had the courage to do anything. That was until in the middle of the school year, a new girl joined my class. At first I had a slight interest in her, but because she sat with some rather strange girls, I preferred not to initiate contact. This changed when one day, I went to lunch at a restaurant outside of school to wait for my afternoon class, and this girl was there. Since we were in the same class, we sat together and started talking a lot. Unlike what I thought, she was really nice and wasn't long before we started dating. I really liked her, until one day, she started acting more distant. Throughout the relationship, I always felt like I had to initiate the conversation and make more of an effort. But this week was brutal. She didn't even say goodbye when she left from school. There were days I even cried in bed because of a whole situation. Then boom, she broke up with me via text, saying the classic, it's not you, it's me. At that moment I was extremely angry and stressed about school and work, so I went to vent to someone I considered a friend. I said a bunch of crap about her to him, nothing personal, just that she was distant and difficult to approach. And since I had spent a lot of money for, quote, no reward, end quote, the jerk, seeing me in that state, decided to take a screenshot of our conversation and send it to two of our friends, who sent it to two other friends, who sent it to two other friends, until at some point it reached my ex. She confronted me later, and by then I had thought it over and even sent a message to the same friend saying I couldn't believe the crap I'd said and I really liked her. But he didn't screenshot that message and send it to everyone. All I did when she called was apologize, but it wasn't enough. She ended up blocking me everywhere. In the end, I came out as a bad guy because of the things I said to my friend. You're absolutely not the asshole here, okay? I'm not even really going to focus on the breakup and what you said because what your friend did here is absolutely so ridiculous, okay? You went to him in confidence and wanted to vent about the fact that you had just gotten broken up with, and because you got a little heated in what you said to him, decided to distribute that information with whoever he felt like. That's such a ridiculous betrayal, and the fact that I got back to your ex is unfortunate, but honestly, it's none of anyone's business. All of us badmouth our exes, okay? There's not a single person on this planet that has had a bad breakup and hasn't badmouthed their ex. Hell, I'm guilty of it too. Your friend could have just told you that he's not okay with you saying these things to him about her, and that would have been fine. Like, it doesn't have to go to the entire school. So yeah, screw that guy, man. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for not buying my friend an expensive birthday gift? Me, female, 15 at the time, him, 14 at the time. My friend's birthday was in April. He was very excited about it and talked about his birthday months beforehand. At the time, I was not working due to mental health reasons, and I had a tighter budget. I got him a candle, a card, and 2 bags of lollies that he loves. I said sorry at least 10 times about not having much money. He was being thankful when I gave him the gift, but 2 months later, when his favorite video game went on sale for $100 Australian, he asked if I could go halves on it for his birthday gift. I told him I got you a gift and I know it wasn't much, but I am tight on money. He then replied, could you ask your parents for money? It's not that much, while rolling his eyes. I was shocked. Mind you, he gets everything he wants from his family, while my parents struggle to pay the bills and buy groceries every week. Now, I'm not really close to him anymore, but he always asks me for things when he wants, not considering me. Every day at school, he ignores me, gives everyone else food, but not me. I do struggle with food, so I go every day at school without food. He gives me so much attitude and it's been going on for 3 years. Niko and other viewers, am I the asshole? Absolutely not. You're not the asshole for not getting him a more expensive birthday gift. It doesn't matter how much a gift costs, okay? You did what you could with the money that you had and you put thought into it. That's all he should really expect from that. I mean, seriously, the audacity of this kid to ask you to go halves on a birthday gift, which was 2 months later, for you to say no, and then him being like, it's not that much money? Like, who are you to tell me how much money is not a lot of money? This kid is clearly a spoiled brat, and he doesn't deserve you as his friend. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for staying with my boyfriend even though I don't want to be with him anymore? My boyfriend and I have been together for about 4 months now. Over this time, I've gotten to know him really well, and I think we're good friends. This past month, I've been considering breaking up with him for several reasons. We just don't work well as a couple, and I'm exhausted from being in this relationship. He is balls deep in this relationship, loves me way more than I love him, while I'm already 1 foot out the door. Problem is, his birthday's in 2 weeks, and I really want to give him a good birthday. Gifts, surprises, a whole lot. I've been planning to end things with him maybe a week after his birthday. A friend of mine told me that it's probably gonna be worse for him if I stay and give him a lot of affection right before ending things abruptly. And if I want to keep his feelings in mind, which I do, this isn't the best course of action. My original plan was to stay with him for another month or 2 because he offered me a really cool position in an event that would have boosted my reputation and given me a lot of opportunities. But I realized that I can't hold it together for that long, and staying with him just for that would have been extremely selfish. I turned down the position today, but I am planning on giving him a good birthday before ending things. So am I the asshole for staying with my boyfriend despite knowing that our relationship is practically over? I wouldn't say that you're the asshole for staying with him. I don't think you should stay with him though. I think your friend is right. Showing him a bunch of affection, a good birthday gift, all this stuff, and then suddenly rug pulling him is not really nice, okay? I think making him feel good on his birthday and then breaking up with him is just gonna make him more stuck on you and will take him longer to get over it. Whereas if you do it before his birthday, at the very least, he gets to enjoy his birthday. It's an unrelated event technically. It's unfortunate that it's a week before his birthday, but I think waiting till after his birthday might make the heartbreak a little bit worse. Where you would have been the asshole is if you stayed with him just for that position in that event, but I'm glad that you realized that that would be a very selfish thing to do. Other than that, let me know in the comments what you think. This one is titled Bro Code Violation. So this was back around the start of last year. It was me and my friend Ginger, who I would say is the closest friend of mine. Me and Ginger would call and play video games with each other and a few other people in a group chat. This group chat would call almost every day, and I got to know this one girl very well. One time I developed deep feelings for her, as any teenager probably would. Later in the year, Ginger told me that he liked the same girl, so I told him I liked her too. We both knew that we liked the same girl, but there wasn't much rivalry or anything like that. After all, we were still friends. After I motivated and hyped him up, he finally decides to confess around the end of the year. I honestly hoped he wouldn't get rejected even though I liked her, as he was saying things like she's the one, I know she is, and things like that. This girl handled it really well. She rejected him very kindly and still wanted to be friends, which was good. But at the end of the day, a rejection is still a rejection. Ginger was horribly disappointed and went into a downward spiral. And only a month or so later, the girl confessed to me, saying she's liked me for a while. And even though Ginger is my friend, I couldn't not take her up on her offer. We are now dating and have been for a while without telling Ginger or anyone else. While Ginger isn't in his downward spiral anymore and is doing better, I'm afraid that if I tell him about me and her, he will feel betrayed and go straight back into his depressive state, among other things. We plan to tell him at the end of this year, but is this a violation of the bro code? This is rough because you both have acknowledged the fact that you like this girl to each other, and he already shot his shot and missed, and she ended up liking you. So, is this a bro code violation? I don't necessarily think so. Are you doing anything wrong by dating each other? No. Will Ginger probably be jealous and sad about the fact? Yes. I think hiding it from him makes it worse. But at the end of the day, this very much sounds like may the best man win type of situation. It's not like you stole his girl. It was never his girl to begin with, you know? That's where the bro code violation would be. The math here is simple. Both of you like the girl. Put yourself in his shoes. Even though you say you hoped that he wouldn't get rejected, part of you also doesn't realize that the moment they started dating, it would have been very different. You probably would have been jealous to some extent, and you probably would have resented them a little bit. So I think he's just going to be unfortunate when he finds out. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for hating my mentally ill roommate? I'm a freshman in college and just started living on my own. I actually met my roommate before we started living together in the same room, and we both were looking forward to going to college together. He's super kind and caring, and we talked online during college applications, so it was nice meeting in real life. However, he has this mental illness that is very similar to something I went through during quarantine. It's something he's been struggling with for years, and comes with habits that are really scary for me to witness every day. And I tend to feel uncomfortable witnessing it in our shared room, which sucks because I put much effort into making my side of the room decorated and comfy, and now I don't like to be in it anymore. He also has habits that remind me of those negative environments I was in for years. It sucks even more that our mutual friends love him, as they don't understand the constant mental stress I experience witnessing him go through these self-destructive habits. I have recommended counseling or ways to improve, but he just takes it and doesn't go through with it. Additionally, I'll talk to him about things that might stress me out / make me upset when they're brought up, but that part of his life is just completely shut out. After living together for months, I don't know much about him other than stuff like, quote, school sucks, unquote. I do go to counseling and have made plans to live on my own next semester, which I haven't told him yet, but I intend on doing soon. It's gotten to the point where I cherish my time alone in the room and cringe when he comes back. Because of this, I try to stay on campus more and only come back to my room when necessary. I'm writing this on a night where he's sleeping over somewhere and I feel super happy and relaxed, which has made me realize how tense I feel every time he's here. The only solution I see for myself is thugging this out until May. It's late February. I just love to hear advice from people who don't know him because it's such a complicated situation. I really do wish the best for him and his recovery, but in the meantime, I'm so tired of this. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're the asshole for this, but I also don't think you titled this correctly. In the title, you said that you hated him for his mental illness, but it more so sounds like you're just not compatible roommates. It's one thing to be friends with someone, and another thing entirely to live with someone. Your friends only show you the parts of them that they feel like showing you when you hang out. Someone you live with inadvertently is going to show you every part of themselves whether you like it or not. So chances are, just like your friends like him a lot outside of that room, you would too if you didn't live with him. Like you said, you offered him advice for what to do. It's making you feel nervous and triggering your past. The healthiest thing for both of you would be to move out because that way you're not going to resent him for something that he can't really control, and you might even end up being friends after that. When I started rooming with one of my now closest friends, Dom, we were fine as roommates, but we didn't really love every aspect of living with each other, especially that first year of college when we had to share the same dorm room. It's a cramped space with two guys having slightly different living habits that clash. So I would just be straight up with him. Look, I don't think we're compatible roommates, but I would like to hang out with you more, and yeah, you're not the asshole for this. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for sleeping with 3 girls in a month? To give some backstory, I'm a 19-year-old male at college, and I was and still am in love with a girl I used to date from my old school, who I reconnected with online after we both moved away. We had been talking for months and sleeping together whenever she'd come back home casually, but I made it clear that I wanted more. Although she had recently got out of a relationship at the time, she told me she couldn't. Meanwhile, she was kissing basically a new guy every night and kept that hidden from me because she knew I would be upset. When she came home for Christmas, things continued the way they had been for 2 weeks, but then she slept with her most recent ex. I was pretty furious with her at the time because I really wanted to be with her, so I shouted at her over the phone. A few days later, my most recent ex hit me up and she told me she had missed me, etc., and we ended up sleeping together. The thing is, I feel horrible because I don't think I was really in a position to do anything with anyone else because of how I still felt for the first girl. My ex and I only slept together twice and I cut things off because I felt I wasn't being honest with her. Then a week later, I get back in touch with the first girl, tell her what happened, and she is also furious with me. She gets drunk one night telling me how much she hates me and that she never wants to see me again. But later that week, she agrees to come over and talk about it. In short, no talking happened, and I spent the next 2 days together with her at her house while her parents were away. But then at the weekend, she finally went back to college. I tried to continue talking to her, but it genuinely made me sad, so I decided to finally end things and cut contact with her. A few days later, I had a one-night stand with a coworker, and once again, I feel like shit because I still love my ex. Alright, I don't think I need to read more of this. You're not an asshole for sleeping with 3 girls in a month. You're not exclusive to any of them. You didn't promise either of them anything besides the one that you want to promise something to. That being said, I think both you and the girl that you're obsessed with need to leave each other alone, and you both need to stay single. Let your emotions sort of just fade away and then start dating new people, because it seems like you guys have trapped yourselves in this ruthless loop of you sleep with each other, then you go far away from each other, then you sleep with other people, then you're both mad and sad about it. You come back together and everything is kind of fine, but then you go back to this whole loop again over and over. There's no reason for it. It just sounds like torture to me, honestly. This one is titled, I blackmailed my friend. Am I the asshole for this? So I'm in this friend group with my girlfriend and one friend of mine. And because of this, both him and my girlfriend are also friends. So one night, I was just chatting on Discord with my girlfriend, and then she sends me a screenshot of her messages with him. And in it, he's kind of jokingly saying how he's been watching her and looking at her PlayStation account and shows her username. And all of us knew my girlfriend's PlayStation account name, but my friend was talking like he was stalking, just in a joking kind of way. And don't worry, we know the guy fairly well and he wouldn't actually ever stalk somebody. After seeing this, it gives me an idea. I thought, wouldn't it be so funny to seem like I hacked his Discord account and his phone? So then I asked my girlfriend if she could send me more screenshots of her DMs with him. After getting them, I started saying things like, quote, I know what you did, end quote. And then saying I hacked his account and sending him a picture of his DMs with my girlfriend's. Then I sent him more pictures of his DMs, saying that I knew things about his personal information that I don't think he knew I knew about him. He replied asking, quote, what other information do you know? You're scaring me, end quote. And because he blatantly said that I was scaring him, I thought it was being like, oh, I'm so scared, in a sarcastic way. So I decided to push it further because it didn't seem like he was buying the prank. I started saying I knew things about him that I didn't actually think was true. But then my girlfriend sent me more pictures of him messaging her and asking to tell me to stop because he was genuinely scared. But instead of stopping, I just took it further. And then I sent him those screenshots and saying things like, quote, I can tell you're scared, so you're going to do as I say, end quote. And pretty much used his fear and found it funny. At the end of it, I never actually did him any harm and did end up telling him it was a prank. But the next day, when I saw him at school, he still seemed a little scared of me. And some of my other friends were saying, that's wrong because it messes with people's minds, when the whole point of the prank was to mess with him, so I didn't get why they were so against it. There were a few people who did agree with me, like my brother, but still said I shouldn't do it again, even though he thought it was funny too. In the end, I never felt bad for it. I still find it hilarious to this day, and everyone seems to have forgotten it. So am I really an asshole for this? I think you are a little bit, because it seems like somewhere in here you crossed a line for him that it was a little bit too much. I feel like I need a little bit more context overall. I'm not entirely sure. At the end of the day, it doesn't seem like he was too happy about this prank. And I think pranks in general are meant to end in laughter most of the time, not so much in fear. But on a completely different note, I think it's a little weird that he's DMing your girlfriend and, quote, stalking her. It sounds like you might have a different issue there, but anyway, that's a completely different story. If he still seems bothered about it, I would apologize to him and hopefully things are fine, but you kind of dabbled in a little assholery there, I will not lie. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for ending my 6-month talking stage for Valentine's? I'm 17, female, and never dated, and only had one previous talking stage before this one. I met a guy in October at my school homecoming game from one of my friends, and he started talking to me. At first I thought it was because we both like One Piece, but the more we texted, I started understanding the signs. I'm slow at catching signs. A month passed, our parents met, and my parents liked him. They saw him and his mom as good people. While we were talking, he would say strange comments though, but I brushed it off. Because I'm more muscular than him, I like going camping, driving a boat, etc. So he would say that I'm not feminine enough, or that my arms are too buff. That he would, quote, need me to stop working out my arms so much, end quote. Or that he really likes girls with straight long hair. My hair is shoulder length and curly. He constantly begged me to straighten it, but I just learned how to get my natural curls during the summer. So I made it clear I wasn't going to do that and that I want to cut it again. He kept saying no. He would also question why I went out so much to a guy's house who was 3 years younger than us and was my girl best friend's brother. I wasn't going to his house, he just lived there. He also went through my phone constantly. I never touched his. February comes around, I find out he's giving 2 other girls Valentine's gifts. We talk it out and he says it's a thing he's been doing for 4 years to these 2 girls who are his close friends. But not best friends, because opposite genders can't be best friends forever. I tried to be understanding, but just to prove his point, he brings his mom into the call after I said not to. His mom got defensive, saying that I'm being untrusting and how that's a thing she has taught him to give out gifts. We hung up, and that night it gave me time to process what happened. I then called him the next day to address things. I told him to never bring his mom into our conversation again, and how weird it is to give other girls gifts on Valentine's. I also confronted him about the untrusting thing, How am I untrusting if he always checks my group chat messages, DMs, etc., while I never touch his? He said, quote, it's like taking an exam. You've never cheated, but the teacher's still going to make sure you don't. That threw me off and pissed me off. He then said again, quote, he doesn't understand what's so wrong about giving another girl a Valentine's Day gift, end quote. So I told him, no, it's completely fine. I'll get my guy friend a cologne just because he broke up with his girlfriend, and I've known him for 4 years. So I'll take my time, my money, and thought into it. He didn't like that. Said, quote, you don't have to do all that, end quote, while making faces. I thought he understood, but before he hung up, he said, quote, I apologize for not telling you about them before. I'm going to go now and buy them their gifts, end quote. The next day, I texted him saying he's not giving me anything to work with and that he sees something weird as normal. I don't want to be the one who makes him distance from friends just because I'm in the picture. I'd rather back away and not to cause issue to give his sister my Valentine's gift. After everything, my friends and family said I was strong and did what I had to do, but him and his mom made me feel like I was overreacting. There's a lot of things here. First of all, what the hell is a 6-month talking stage, bro? Why do people do this to themselves? If he's checking your phone, you guys are talking about Valentine's Day and all this stuff, and you're meeting parents. It's not a talking stage, that's dating. Now, other than that, no, you're not the asshole for doing that. You're very mature in doing so. You should have done so a lot earlier, from what I can tell. Anyone in the comments who's in a relationship currently, can you imagine giving a girl that isn't your girlfriend a Valentine's Day gift? Like, are we fucking for real? I think the clapback about buying your other guy friend cologne was very smart. Clearly he got annoyed with that one, so that should just tell you enough. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you, this guy doesn't seem like he liked you in the first place. If he's trying to change everything about you, he's trying to mold you into a girl he already likes or has like this type in his head. It's one thing to suggest, getting a different haircut because you think it would look good. It's another thing entirely to be upset about the fact that you're not changing your hairstyle for him. All things considered, you're 100% in the right here. You should never date a guy who's getting other girls Valentine's Day gifts when he's seeing you. You should also not date a guy who brings his mother in the conversation while you're having the conversation. It's one thing if you guys go to your parents and ask for advice on how to handle a situation after the fact, but for you to directly have her implement herself in the conversation is, well, childish. You said you're 17. I'm assuming this guy is also around the same age or slightly older. So he's still got a little bit of learning to do in that case. But yeah, you saved yourself a lot of pain and suffering by breaking up with this guy. This one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Having Sex with My Friend's Girlfriend? Alright, that title is a bit of a self-report, but I'm gonna read it anyway. I know it sounds really bad, but let me explain. This was last year, and my friend was dating this girl who lives in New Jersey. We live in Massachusetts. That meant that they conversed mainly over Discord and didn't see each other often. However, my friend group met with my friend's girlfriend because we were all going to Connecticut for a trip with my parents to visit family. And she happened to also be going to the same town because her family was planning to move there. Me and her talked a little, nothing out of the ordinary, and we kind of became friends, but I still respected her relationship with my friend. The next school year, our junior year of high school, this friend starts getting really pissed at me and my friends because of an argument he had with someone else and began randomly insulting and spreading rumors about primarily my friends. However, he starts hanging out with other people and flirting with other girls and doesn't tell his girlfriend anything. He also begins to leak very personal stuff about her to his new friends for laughs. I felt bad for her considering how devoted she was for him, and he would always act so sweet to her, but be an asshole behind her back. Eventually, when I visited Connecticut that holiday break, my former friend's girlfriend was also there. I decided to tell her everything, and she surprisingly believes me, and says that he had been always asking for nudes and sex acts even when she wasn't comfortable with it and threatened to leave if she didn't. So we low-key hit it off and started dating, but she fears that this guy will send her photos to other people if she leaves, so we have to keep it a secret from him. We end up doing some stuff, as you can probably tell by the title, but she says that she likes him much more than from her boyfriend because he doesn't give a shit of how she feels while they're doing it. Eventually they do break up, so me and my best friend hatch a plan to jump the ex-friend and forcefully delete her nudes from his phone. We were actually surprisingly successful, and his new friend group turns on him for what he did. Nobody talks to him anymore, but me and his ex are not together because she says she understandably wants a break from dating. Okay, there are a lot of variables to this story, and I think we need to break it down a little bit. Two things can be true at once. This guy is an asshole for the way he treated his girlfriend, but you are also an asshole for the fact that you slept with his girlfriend while they were still dating. I understand this guy is a piece of garbage. He's flirting with other girls behind her back. He's laughing at her expense with his friends, asking for nudes, all that fun stuff, and just being a genuinely bad boyfriend. But that doesn't excuse you for sleeping with her while they were still together, or her for that matter. If she had broken up with him and then you guys slept with each other, that is a completely different story. Now, as far as the whole pictures on the phone are concerned, this one is a bit iffy because she said that she felt that he wouldn't delete them. Did she ever ask him to delete them? And if she asked him and then he said no, then you kid can jump him. So I think that was a little premature, but who knows, given what you guys were saying about the guy. Now, as a general rule of thumb, don't go sleeping with people who are in relationships in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter how the relationship is, it's just not a great practice overall. This one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Avoiding My Best Friend? Okay, a little context, I'm 15 and a girl. I go to a boarding school and I live there on weekdays, so I spend the most of all my time with two people. They have been pretty much my only close friends for the past couple of years. They are both girls and a bit younger than me. They are also roommates and I dorm alone. I'm a little closer with one that I'm going to call Chloe. We have been friends since kindergarten and have more in common, including that neither of us are even relatively interested in dating. This will be relevant later. Anyway, the other friend has made some, quote, jokes about being bi. It's really hard to tell if they are jokes or not. She has said she is a couple of times, but then whenever someone asks, she says no. Let's call this friend Kayla. So the problem started a few months ago, when Kayla would do this thing where she would grab my waist kind of hard or grab the back of my neck because she knows I hate when people do that. Not in a mean way, just in a more of a joking way. She also makes sexual jokes directed at me, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. She does other things that are just generally kind of sexual gestures or touching me weird, as I mentioned before. I'm not at all interested in romantic things or sexual things, so obviously this makes me uncomfortable. I've started trying to avoid her and walk a couple of feet away from her so that she can't touch me. And I really don't know what to do because I hate confrontation, and I don't know if she's just being goofy, if she actually is bi and likes me, or who knows. I feel like it would be weird to say something about it to her if it was just her being goofy, but it's making me hate her even though she has no idea I have a problem with it. I've briefly mentioned this to Chloe, but we didn't talk about it much. Kayla has been a really good friend and I don't want to end it over something stupid like miscommunication. Do you have any advice? I don't think you're the asshole for avoiding your best friend. I think you're being unfair and not telling her that is bothering you. You're saying that you don't want this to end over something stupid like miscommunication. You're not communicating this at all to her. Talk to her and tell her that you don't like when she does these things. I understand that you don't like confrontation, but that's one of those tough luck things of life. You have to talk to people. Sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations, especially when it's about something that's making you uncomfortable. It doesn't really sound like she's joking about being bi. It sounds like she has a crush on you and she's touching you all kinds of weird. So tell her to stop. Why should you feel uncomfortable with your friend, especially if you like this friend? But you absolutely have to use your words and you have to tell her about this. And it's as simple as this. Hey, Kayla, I don't appreciate when you touch my neck like that. Or I don't appreciate when you say these sexual jokes at me. Could you please stop doing that? It makes me uncomfortable. And if she answers like, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know it bothered you, then all is fine and dandy. And if she stops, all is fine and dandy. If she kind of dismisses you and continues to do so, then give her an ultimatum saying, I don't want to be your friend if you keep doing this, and then ignore her after the fact. But you have to tell her regardless. This one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Not Talking to My Friend After 2 months after he almost got me killed during skiing? That is a long title. Okay. Basically, 3 months ago, I was on break from school and me and my 3 friends decided to go skiing. I was new to this, so I didn't have any experience. 2 of my friends were really good at skiing and 1 was a novice at it. The novice friend suggested that since it's my first time skiing, that we start at the beginner hills. And one of the pro friends agreed, but the other pro friend said that, quote, in order to be good at skiing, you must start rush into it, end quote. I'm not sure what it meant, but all I knew is that he wanted me to instantly start at the highest hill, and I wasn't comfortable with it because it was too high. I told him that I was really new to this and would probably die if I did because I didn't know how to control that amount of speed. My 2 other friends agreed. It pissed him off, so he started to push me around and would keep complaining about everything I would do wrong on the beginner hill. And eventually I made my way up to the medium-sized hill after gaining confidence, and I started going down slowly until the friend who was acting like an asshole came down speeding into me and crashed into me. A ski patrol saw this and took his pass or whatever thing allows him to ski and called medical attention for me. In the end, everything came out fine, and I'd probably do it again, just not with him. After the ski incident, he spoke with me at school and asked me if I was okay, and I didn't even respond to him. I didn't acknowledge him for 2 months because of how pissed I was. He stopped trying to talk to me, and it remains like that even today. So am I the asshole? I don't think so. I think he did something that was very stupid. He could have gotten you killed, like you're saying. So many people I know have gotten hurt from skiing and snowboarding accidents just from the sport alone. Never mind someone intentionally skiing into you, okay? So yeah, take your time as long as you need to be angry at him, and if you feel like talking to him again, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. This kid put your life in extreme danger for no reason, and honestly, I don't know if I would forgive him either, so good luck with that. This one is titled, Will I Be the Asshole for Breaking Up with My Boyfriend Because He's Saying I'm Ignoring Him and Crying About It? I'm 15 in high school and busy AF. On top of my IB schedule and all the studying and homework I have to do, I also have to practice for figure skating competitions, piano lessons, and coordinate meetings as the Model UN Club president. I also have Model UN conferences from time to time. And if you were a Model UN kid/new one, you know how much preparation goes into that. On top of all that, I have a job on the weekend. I seriously don't know how I found time to talk to a boy, let alone get a boyfriend. But alas, He knew how busy I was before we got together and was okay with it. But now 5 months into dating, he's being oddly clingy. He insists on calling/texting/hanging out whenever I'm in the middle of something. And when I tell him I'm busy, he gets sad and he says I'm ignoring him and sends me videos of him sobbing. I'm sorry, but I can't help but cringe. And when I do have time to hang out with him, all he does is complain about how busy I am and all these things I'm doing has no purpose. Which really hurts me because I'm doing these things because they're my passion. I really don't like this behavior and I'm considering breaking up with him. And probably just not dating anyone for a while. I'm too busy. But my friend told me it's a petty thing to break up over and that he's making efforts. So should I make the effort too? I don't know. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're the asshole for wanting to break up with him. I think you're the asshole, in fact, for not breaking up with him. And let me tell you why. This kid wants to be around you and you don't have enough time for him. It's understandable for you to say that he knew going into the relationship how busy you would be, but if you're going to be in a relationship with him, you're gonna have to make some time with him. I will say that him just using the time that he does get with you to complain is not very effective on his end either. You should be spending that time having fun with each other. But honestly, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're 15, you're doing a bunch of stuff, you're enjoying yourself, even though you have a full schedule. You don't really need to be dating right now. I'm not going to lie to you. You'll have time to mess with boys later in life and be happy with them, disappointed in them, and all those fun things. But you don't really get to do model UN later in life. You might not have time for figure skating competitions and piano lessons and all the other kinds of stuff that you're doing. So do the things that you love with your friends and date later. Another thing I'm seeing here is that in most of the stories where the breakups are kind of being initiated by girls, usually girls are talking about the fact that they enjoy spending time with their boyfriends and it's going to hurt this and that. You're thinking about this a little too logically in the sense where I don't even think you actually like this guy. I think you just are in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship with him. So cut this poor kid loose. All he wants is to spend time with you and you don't have time to spend with him. So that is a mismatch right there. Let him be with someone who actually has time to spend with him. But that is all we have for today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. By the way, people have been asking for the world downloads on Patreon. The one for February is up with the updated houses and everything. For the next video, we're doing some Reddit stories. So no form for next week, but there will be content. So good night and good luck, everybody.